Okay, let's look at the front forks. I didn't drain the oil from them, as you know, from the strip down. So I'm just initially going to pull the springs out, put them to one side for the minute. I will measure them, make sure they are within spec. There's clearly oil in the forks, so if you will excuse me for 1 second, I'm going to just tip that out. In fact, I'll tip it out here so you can see. Lots of noisy rattling. Is there any oil in them? Yes, there we go. Oh, yeah, doesn't look too bad. I'll show you that in a second. There are drain plugs. Let's get those on there. Dribble, dribble, dribble. Right, that'll do. Should leave that for the second leg. So, I'm going to remove this old dust cover first. Oh dear, that's rather hard. Let's see if we can get a small screwdriver underneath it. Oh yes, very brittle. Yes. Come on, there we go. Right, okay. That's got it out of the seal. Groove, I should say. Yeah, there we go. Lovely jubbly. Right. Boot off. Got our seal in there. Which doesn't feel that bad actually. Still feels quite soft. Okay. Now to get the leg apart, you can insert a long rod down there with an appropriate nut on the end, which I will show you when it's apart. Somebody scratched a chrome there. Well, I don't think that's going to be in the area of operation. We shall see. It looks well up. Right, okay. Yes, it is well up. So we need to get the stanchion out of the leg, which is held, the damper rod I should say, is held by an Allen headed socket there. Now if you're doing it manually, you're going to need the long extension with a nut on to hold the damper rod while you undo that. However, because I'm lazy, and also because it's very effective, normally. See, there's me again. I say it's very effective, you can guarantee the bloody thing won't work now I said that. But this bike is starting to just take the piss, I think. But anyway, so we'll find the appropriate Allen key, which is that one. And we shall get our little impact gun, which is set to undo. We shall stick it in there. And out it comes. So the forks should now, in theory, separate. As I say, I'll show them that when I've got it apart, 'cause it's a lot easier doing it this way. So those two parts should come apart. Oh, there we go, look at that. Didn't hesitate. Right. Now, once we've got it like this, on the bottom there is a small washer. Which appears to be stuck at the minute. I shall come back to that later. Right, so that should all come out of the stanchion. So let me get a screwdriver. As I was saying, that should all come out of the stanchion, which it doesn't want to do, and that's not all right. Okay. That should just push, drop, I should say. That should just drop straight out. Let me find something to encourage you with. Right, I just gently used a piece of threaded rod, push down there, just to gently bring this out. And now it has. Normally these, well, as I've said many times with this bike, normally doesn't seem to apply. But normally, that should come out fairly easily. But anyway, there it is. We now have one empty stanchion, one empty fork leg, a dust seal, and then our damper rod, which has a spring on it. No need to take any of this apart, I'm just going to clean it. And then we have an oil seal around here, which I have ordered. I can't remember if they come yet. I was going to look in the parts book. Parts. Okay. Anyway, as I said before, there's your nut that you would have used with a long extension, like so, to hold your Allen key in, which fitted in the bottom here. And then let me just wipe this down for you and take that off. That's all good. On the bottom here, which must still be in the fork leg. I can't see it. Right. Oops. Dizzy spell. Right. There is a Doughty washer that goes on the end of them. Let me just find one to show you. In fact, no, I'm going to clean it all up first. I'm going to clean this all up and then show you. It might still be in the bottom of that, I can't see. We shall see. It'll be better when all the oil's out. So the final thing then is to get the old seal out of there. Now I have a proper seal removing tool, which is like a big hooked pick. And when I went to get it, it wasn't there. Which means I must have lent it to someone. And just at the minute, I can't remember who. So we're going to have to use the screwdriver method, which is less than ideal, but it's all I've got at the minute. So I need to get under the bottom of the seal, oh, it is hard, and gently prise it out without damaging this, which is where the hook is so useful. I'm just going to try a bit of cloth first. I don't want to damage the edge of this. Oh my word, that's tight. It's absolutely rock hard. Right, okay. There's no sign of that moving at all. I'm going to have to find my hook tool, because I say, if you're not careful, you end up damaging the alloy, which I do not want to do. No. Okay, I'll have to bring you back when I get the hook tool. Right, I didn't get my pick tool because I'm really getting cheesed off with having to delay various parts of this rebuild unnecessarily. So I put the leg in the vise, which has marked it slightly, but I'll clean that up, and got stuck in. Now the rubber section eventually split and came out eventually. However, that should be inside that, which is then fitted in there. You can see the extent to which I had to collapse it, bit by bit, slowly by slowly, until I could get behind it enough to get it out the leg. But now it's out, the alloy is undamaged. There's no evidence of anyone having been in here before. Normally there are scratch marks and things that you find when people have removed them previously. So we're done. So I'm going to take this all away, clean it, degrease it, measure it up, and then we'll come back and we'll fit new seals, put the leg back together and see what it looks like. Right, the parts washer. Cleaned all the threads up, gave the legs a very light going over on the buffer. It'll need polishing now with Solvol when they get on the bike, but they were originally quite roughly cast, so I wasn't going for a high shine. Just wanted to get rid of the oxidisation, which I appear to have done quite nicely. I'm happy with that. Stanchions are good. Again, very happy with them. The old Doughty washer fell out in the wash, as we were hoping it might, as I was hoping it might. So there's really only three things to deal with to rebuild them. And that is our rubber seal in here. I forgot to wash that. I'll go and wash that, as I completely forgot all about it. Okay, the battery decided to die halfway through what I was doing, and we appear to have lost some of it. So what you missed was me just tapping the new seal into the leg using a 36mm socket, because that's what I had that fitted perfectly. Nothing to it, I just tapped it in, make sure it's sitting flush. I then greased the inside face, because that's where we're going to be sliding the stanchion in. Now, different people do this different ways. This is merely the way I do it. I think it works. I may be wrong. This is how I do it. I haven't even looked at the workshop manual, so they might say a different way anyway. The new Doughty washer is stuck to the bottom of the damper rod with grease, springs back on, the new seals just rolled onto there. I don't know if we got that bit. I'm just telling you again, just in case. We also now here have a long extension with a 13/16 socket, which fits over that nut nicely, because we're going to use that to hold it together while we put the Allen key back in at the bottom. So that's your top of your stanchion with your threads. So that's going to go in there like that. We'll go all the way down. We'll just push it down with that for the minute if we can, which we can't because that socket won't fit inside there. That's really irritating. Really irritating indeed. Right, okay. Okay, we'll continue with the rest of it. I'll worry about that later. So, we have to get that in there and then the rod down to the bottom to screw our Allen key in. So, if we start that, oh, that went really easily. I was going to say sometimes they're tougher than that, and I use a twisting motion to get them to seat, but that one went in really easily. Really easily. Okay. Anyway, turn it round. Our Allen key is going to go back in there. But there's nothing to screw into at the minute because the rod's not far enough down. So, should have cleared all this clutter beforehand. Just going to try and encourage it down. There it is. It's all the way down to the bottom. We get our appropriate Allen key, which I think was that one from memory. Right. So that's not catching. Okay. Then we go and find another socket that I can use. Right, can't find a socket in a minute, so I'll do a different method where you push. Let me just see you can see that. Bring you out. Yeah, you should be able to see that. Just bring it down a little bit and across. Right, so the long extension which was going to hold the nut, which I can't get down inside, is now jammed off against this piece of wood to stop it moving, and I'm applying pressure to it, which will then enable me to tighten up the Allen key in theory. So with the pressure on, that should tighten. There we go, lovely. Keep the pressure on. There we go, lovely jubbly. Right, hold tight. Remove that. This has been cleaned. It is sufficiently flexible to use again. You can't see that, so I better show you. It's been cleaned, it's sufficiently flexible to use again. So that will just be slid down there and back over there. Now, if this was an ordinary road bike, I would be using gaiters. But as it's a street scrambler, I'm not sure that would look right. So I'll leave them bare. And then finally, our spring. And then when that's mounted back into the bike. It will be filled with oil and our top cap on, and that's it. Nothing else to it. The only problem comes, really, with these is if they're badly worn, there are no bushes to replace. So if there's a lot of movement between the stanchion and the bottom leg, rock, you've got to get a new bottom leg, which I think they're about £120, something like that. But the good thing about these forks is you can get every single part should you need it. You get new stanchions, new bottoms, all your seals, everything I think. I'm not aware of anything that you can't get anyway, put it that way. So there you go. I'll do the other one. And one pair of rebuilt fork legs. Relatively minimal effort and relatively minimal cost, really. Right, I'll go and do the other leg. Right, we missed this on the first leg because of various issues. So this is actually the second leg we're looking at now. Now I've got it in the vise, carefully wrapped up to make sure I minimise the damage. I've got a small tyre lever which just fits under there nicely. I've got the alloy of the leg protected with a bit of cloth, and it's, if we carefully work our way around, it should come out. If it's stuck, I'll just give it a little, which it is stuck, a little tap, and then we'll try this side a bit. Oh my word, this is tight. These are dreadful, they really are. Oh, there we go. Definitely got something moving there. Let's give it a little tap again. Want to go. Hurrah! So that's how they're meant to come out, with the metal seal on them. The replacements don't have that metal ring, as I said. So that's them out. There is no damage to the alloy of the leg, which is what we want, and the replacements will hopefully go in a bit easier. Right, so I'm glad we caught that on camera. I'll go and clean this up. Okay, this is the second leg, so I'm just going to do this bit again because I think we may have missed it the first time round with the camera battery dying. So the seal, I'll just give a very light grease to ease its way in, and then to get it in I have a 36mm impact socket, which seems to be a pretty good fit really. Slightly awkward, I normally do this standing up, you've got to see it, so slightly awkward, but anyway, that fits over the seal. Is it seated, I think? Yep. Just give that another tap there. Yep. And then, as I said before, this is just the way I do it. Other people have different ideas. And in all honesty, I haven't even looked at the workshop manual. So I've greased the inside lip of the seal. I'm going to take the damper rod which has escaped me. Wherever I put it, it's probably staring me in the face somewhere. Yeah, in fact, I am genuinely going mad. It is in fact literally right in front of me. Ah dear. Right, okay. It's no fun being mental and old. Right, so the old seal just gets pulled out with a little ceremony. The new seal gets rolled on in its place, which is fairly straightforward. Again, I give that a little wipe of grease to encourage its movement back through. And then at this end, decent amount of oil, a decent amount of grease. We stick the new Doughty washer on with the grease to hold it in place while we slide it in. We replace our spring. Right, spring's on a damper rod, I should say. Doughty washer stuck on with grease, hopefully. So that's then going to be inserted from the top end of your stanchion. Slight spot going in with this one, but we shall help it along. There we go. There we go. Damper rod's in, Doughty washer's in, and now we've got to put it in the leg. Now, normally these are a bit tight. The first leg was very, very easy. I'm not sure why, but it was. But anyway, we gently insert and apply a twisting motion. Again, that went really well. They're often a lot worse than that. Right, so we then set up our apparatus to apply pressure, which hopefully it will, and then our Allen key can go back in, which I think we covered on the first one anyway. So this will be a mix and match of two different legs. Right, apply some pressure, and that's it tight. Good stuff. That can come out. That can come out. Our spring can go in. Some marks off the yoke there, but I don't think anyone will see it. And we'll retrieve our rubber seal, just like on the other one. Retrieved. That can be reseated, like so. That's on. And that's ready to go. The alloy will get polished when it's on the bike finally, as will the chrome obviously. But it's pretty good really. You can see more marks on a camera than you can looking at it in the metal, but I think that's to do with digital imaging generally. Right, okay. So that's both port legs done. You just need filling up when you get refitted.